as UFC 317 approaches, everyone's been talking about the lightweight title fight. Charles Oliveira takes on Ilia Topuria, who's made it his life goal to knock out every single fan favorite fighter in the UFC. Topuria has knocked out Max Holloway, he's knocked out Volkanovski, and now he's set his sight on Oliveira. Now, if you believe the current betting odds, you'd think that Oliveira doesn't stand a chance. You'd think that Topuria is going to win this fight easily. You'd also think that only an idiot would bet his house and his entire life savings on Oliveira. But I'm here to tell you, you're wrong about all of those things, and that Oliveira is going to win this fight. So let's watch some footage and break down exactly how he's going to do that. When it comes to the striking department, Topuria has the obvious advantage. If you look at this picture from when he fought Max Holloway, you can get a good idea of how Topuria behaves as a fighter. So if you look closely, you can see that Topuria very much likes to move forward in a straight line. He's not the type to circle around his fighters. He very much likes to move in a straight line. Now, he combines this by also throwing a lot of volume in this space between the two fighters. Now, these two are a lethal combination because what the template has been for his fights is that Topuria is moving forward, he's pressuring his opponent, and as they're backing away, they're making mistakes, and Topuria takes that opportunity and he uses that tremendous power that he has, right? Because one thing that Topuria is notorious for is his punching power, and he utilizes this to knock them out. Now, this picture tells us what Topuria's strength is, but it also tells us his weakness, right? If you look closely, Topuria stands in a boxing stance, right? Now, in boxing, this stance is fine because no one is going to kick that leg because it's boxing, but in UFC, that is a different game, right? This knee is a huge weak point for Topuria because of the amount of weight that he places on it due to his boxing stance. Now, Topuria relies heavily on this stance defensively and offensively. If you look, there's a level change that Topuria does, and as you can see in that, he's very much putting a lot of weight on that lead leg. And here's another picture where it's a bit more obvious that he's putting a lot of weight on that lead leg. This is right after Topuria punches. You can see almost his entire body is over that leg, like he's entirely shifted his weight onto that lead leg. This is the main source of Topuria's power. The ability to put the weight on that lead leg is what gives Topuria's power, which is different than someone like Pereira, who is a more square-off puncher. As you can see, he's not very reliant on that lead leg to generate power. This is the first thing that Oliveira can take advantage of. What I'd like to see from round one is Oliveira kicking the shit out of this lead leg, right? This is going to slow Topuria down inevitably. There's two ways that this happens. The first one being damage. Now, this is the obvious one. When someone kicks your leg, you're not able to move forward as much, which deals with the first thing we talked about, which is Topuria's forward pressure, right? But what this also does is when your leg is damaged, you can't place as much weight on it. So this also deals with the power that we talked about. As we saw earlier, Topuria relies on this lead leg to generate the power that he has. And if it is damaged, obviously he's not going to be able to deliver that knockout punching power as easily. Now, besides damage, there's another crucial part that these kicks are going to play. Now, when Oliveira throws these kicks, right, Topuria is not going to have a choice but to respect them. What I mean is that if you look at this picture from when he's fighting Max Holloway, Holloway throws a push kick and Topuria has no choice but to back out, right? And if you look even closely, you can see that his hips are square and he's off balance, right? This is low-hanging fruit for a takedown for someone as experienced as Oliveira, right? Oliveira is one of the greatest submission artists and grapplers we have seen in the UFC. And if you give someone like Oliveira a chance like this, where your hips are square and you're off balance, he is going to go for that takedown. So what Oliveira needs to do is we know that he has a wide arsenal of kicks, right? Push kicks and calf kicks. So he needs to use this to attack that lead leg and make Topuria respect that kick while also damaging his leg. Over time, this is going to slow Topuria down, but he's also going to pull a mistake like he did with Holloway. Now, Holloway didn't take advantage of this because he is not a grappler, but Oliveira is, and he can easily go for a takedown. We also need to talk about how Oliveira has a significant disadvantage in the striking department. Now, the issue is that this guy is comically easy to hit. We can see this from when he fought Dustin Poirier, right? Dustin throws a shot to the body and Oliveira drops his hands. So in the immediate next sequence, which this image is a second later, Oliveira gets hit in the face because he drops his hands. Dustin fakes to the body, which you can't see, and then he's able to hit Oliveira in the face. Now, you can't take shots like this against someone like Topuria because we know that Topuria has that one punch knockout power. So how does Oliveira deal with this, right? The first thing, the most important thing that he needs to do is to stay out of punching range. Now, there's two ways that he can stay out of punching range. The first one is being too far to get punched. And we've talked about this earlier, right? What Oliveira needs to do is he is the taller fighter. So he needs to keep his distance, throw kicks, and attack that lead leg, right? And we've talked about how this will help Oliveira, but it will also make sure that he stays out of punching range. Second, right, while being too far for punches, you can also be too close for punches. And what I'm talking about is a Muay Thai clinch, right? We know that Oliveira has a great Muay Thai clinch, and we know that he throws a lot of knees in this clinch and he's very comfortable in it, and he can set up a lot of takedowns from this clinch. So what Oliveira needs to do is, if and when Topuria closes him down, which he will, Topuria has closed down on every single one of his opponents, Josh Emmett, Max Holloway, Volkanovski, the list goes on. He manages to catch up to them at some point. So what Oliveira needs to do is, if and when Topuria is in close range and it looks like this is going to turn into a throwdown situation, Oliveira needs to close that distance and grab a hold of Topuria and force a clinch. From here, Oliveira can throw knees and force him to back off, right? Or he can try to go for a takedown, which in this case is where Oliveira is going to win his fights. So either way, Oliveira needs to stay out of punching range. I hope that in this video, I've convinced you that there is a good chance that Oliveira wins this fight against Topuria at UFC 317. If Oliveira manages to keep his distance and go for a takedown and take this fight to the ground, there is a good chance that Oliveira is going to win this fight. If you agree with me or disagree with me, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.